What's up, everybody? I am sore. I am still sore. For those of you who don't know, I do kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, and on Tuesday we had an 80-minute workout, maybe 85, and it was just so sore. Shoulders, back, you name it, sore. But anywho, welcome to Save Me From Myself podcast, episode 3, Jobs Part 2. Now, if you didn't see episode 2, which is Jobs Part 1, then there's a lot in that too. I go through all the jobs I've ever had. I used to work at GameStop, Bath and Body Works, Subway, worked on the cruise ship. There's a lot of that. The good, the bad, and the ugly of all of that is in the previous episode, so check that out. But this episode had to be broken up into 2 parts because there was just so much to go through. As I said in my last episode, my colleagues always say it's easier for me to tell you where I haven't worked versus where I have, because I've done a lot. I've done a little bit of everything. But the experiences helped me grow as an employee, as a person, as a human being overall. So there's nothing too bad in my situations. But going on to now, Jobs Part 2, I'm getting closer to modern times, modern day, the present. There's been a lot of hoopla from my jobs from like the past 5 years or so. So where we left off was I worked at Bath and Body Works, and of course I explained things such as like the Christmas promotions, Candle Day, the store I worked at ended up getting robbed, and just some of the little tips and tricks of trying to get the best deal. And a lot of times I would forget what things smell like, so it's hard to kind of remember smells because I end up getting nose blind to it. But check out episode 2 of Jobs Part 1 and you get to hear all of those things. But after I started working at Bath and Body Works, I worked in the same strip mall, so it just kind of happens. It's just easy to apply when you're in the same strip mall. So the Bath and Body Works is in the same strip mall as this place called Nuke's Eatery. Now, I'm not sure what their region is, but Georgia is where that location was. And I'm not sure if it's in other cities or other states, but Nuke's Eatery is kind of like a more Americanized Panera Bread, Jason's Deli, McAllister's. You could come and dine in. They would bring food to you. So I remember one of the first jobs I had was a cashier and a food runner. And so kind of like some Chick-fil-A's now, they would give you a number to put on a table, and you would just know, okay, table 6 had whatever was up. So I would run food. They let us wear jeans. So the uniforms were jeans and a t-shirt. Phenomenal. I love jeans. Jeans are easier, especially in the food industry. How easy it is to get stains out of jeans versus slacks, khakis, or dress pants. It's so much easier to get stains out of those denims. So do food run, cashier. So you would come in, you have a menu, and you either have 1 or 2 cashiers in front of you. So you would look at the menu. There's everything from sandwiches to pizzas to salads. And I wasn't eating meat at this point in time, so I would normally always go for the veggie pizza, or they had a pimento cheese sandwich, and that was always good. And so you will order, get your number, sit at the table, food runner delivers food. And one cool thing, I think Jason's has this, it's just a round, called the round table, had the napkins, also had like chili peppers or jalapenos and little extra salad food toppings, and the famous little breadsticks, utensils and stuff like that. So the round table was kind of like a staple Make sure that was always stocked and always kept it nice and neat. But yeah, just had little stuff on there, little add-on toppings and little breadsticks to go with the atmosphere of the deli style cuisine and that good stuff. And so for that job with me, when I really wanted to get into it, I would figure out how to like do other positions, because again, as you know, I kind of get bored easily. So I ended up working cashier, food runner, and then I ended up trying to figure out how to do to-goes. And I can't remember how I did it. I just remember I always ask questions like, how you do that? How you do that? Oh, hey, someone's at the to-go counter, and then no one will be over there. And then I'll go over there. I'm like, it's half what I was already doing on the cash register, just different sections. And so someone just happened to be like, oh, you press this. And I indirectly like end up training on to-goes. So I've done to-goes before, as you know, in my old Charlie story. I used to do to-goes, curbside pickup back when there was, Chili's and Applebee's, and old Charlie's would have parking spots. So I knew how to do to-goes, just I didn't know the system for Nuke's Eatery and to-goes. And so learned that, ended up being able to do to-goes, food running, and cashier. So whatever needed to be done, I was there like, hey, to-goes, okay, I do it. Hey, come food run. So, okay, I got it. Oh, we need an extra hand up here. Okay, I got it. And then eventually, I'm knowing my work ethic, I have a big thing about being on time. Early is on time and time is late. I know how cheesy it is. And for all of my people that's been around from when Jumbline was around, yes, early is on time is late. I live by that religiously. How are we hustling? How are we making money if you're gonna not be ahead of the game? Be early. Always be early. Don't give them the reason to fire you. It's something as simple as showing up on time. If you're gonna get rid of me for me not being skillful or not being good at my job. Don't have a reason to be able to get rid of me for something I have control over, like time and arriving on it. So long story short, I get to test out get the training wheels of catering. I end up getting promoted to catering manager, or testing the waters out and everything like that. So catering manager, exactly what it sounds like. I get to drive the van and deliver food and catering orders to different facilities. And some of the main common regulars I had throughout the week were like different companies. The city I lived in was really heavy on healthcare, and we had hospitals and facilities and clinics everywhere. And so a lot of times that would be most of the clientele. And so I would remember half the time how to get to these places. And when I went there for the first time, of course, it's like, okay, where do I go? Where do I park? But eventually I ended up learning, okay, boom, go here, make a left. They want to get picked up, where to put the stuff, leave it, go out. Went to Bank of America a few times. I went to a Total Systems, T-Systems. Not Bank of America, sorry, Wells Fargo. And again, hospitals, different places like that. They would order like once or twice a week to treat their staff something, different or out. And so I would have to get up earlier. I had to get in, I believe, at 5 a.m. So that shift will run from 5 to 1, I believe. So I had to get up at 5, set orders up for different catering orders. So a lot of things come with utensils. I had the fruit, mixed fruit, like there was like potato salads and pimento cheese tray and things like that. So I had to get all that stuff ready, packed, marked, and loaded up on the truck before 11. Generally, once the first order will go out, probably by 11. And again, I'm doing this all by myself. I would get, there was drinks. I had like 3 or 4 gallons of teas, lemonades, waters, whatever. Had to get all that loaded up, and I would make sure I had to put it in the truck in a certain way to make sure I knew exactly where I was going, who had what, and what was what. And it was insane. I remember the one with the Total Systems company, they came out to me. They wouldn't even let me in the building. I get it, security, understood. But when I delivered to the bank, I could go all the way to whatever floor it was I needed to go to, get through 3 or 4 clearance of security and bring food. But like, I guess, sure. But it had lunch boxes. So everyone had like the individual box with the sandwich chip and like a brownie. And so then that was kind of the lunch boxes, and they ordered, I don't know, like 200 of them. And I was like, this is a lot for this situation, whatever it may be, and trying to make sure I had every single one of those, make sure I had enough, and make sure they all got delivered, because I think I had that stop first. And yeah, that was a lot there. But long story short, I test you out the job. So I was working here and at Bath and Body Works at the same time. And then I ended up getting my third job, and I think I ended up leaving Bath and Body Works and then replacing it with this next job I'm about to mention, I believe. And eventually Nukes is also trickled out. But there was one thing that always happened to me every morning. Don't know why, but you have to break down the tea urns, of course, right? You have to take it apart, clean them out, take off the nozzles, clean those out, the filter, all that fun stuff. And for some reason, if you didn't put it on tight enough and you go to brew your tea, put the filter on and all that, you'll go and do whatever. And somehow it would popped off, and all you see is just tea. It's just spewing out all over the floor. And that will be what most of my morning would take up, was just cleaning up after myself. And I'm like, oh my God, I spent 20 minutes just cleaning up tea that I had for these party orders, catering orders. And oh yeah, also getting ice, bagging up ice, and stuff like that. So make sure I had the utensil for that. It was always like a little scooper, and we always had ice bags. So we just fill up our ice from our own ice machine into ice bags and tie them and take it with the order. But yeah, after I left Nukes and I left Bath and Body Works, this is when I was starting training in kickbox for the first time. So this was probably middle in summer fall time of 2017. And yeah, I started training in kickboxing. I was there for a few months, and then eventually I started instructing. I became a trainer. I was there enough to kind of know the rhythm of the job, and then they just had to show me how to do like the behind the scenes stuff with the computers and things like that. Even before becoming a trainer, I was going through my own weight loss journey. So I was about 300 pounds at my heaviest. And that was a combination of like the side effect for taking birth control, not taking care of myself, on top of stress and everything else in between. So I started working out around 9 or 10 months in. I got down to 170 pounds and about 23% body fat, give or take. And so then I was a trainer, and then so I was training and working out. So then I was always, keeping the calories down and carbo loading, eating as much as I don't like Waffle House now, but I would eat Waffle House almost every night. And I would get home at like 9 o'clock and I would just eat Waffle House, All-Star to be exact. And then the chef there, she would remember me, and I had a regular, and sometimes she actually hooked me up. Okay, next time you go to Waffle House, ask for the peanut butter chips and a double waffle. If you don't want to, no biggie. But the point is, you want it, the chocolate, the peanut butter chips to melt in the middle. So then you can put the peanut butter on one side and get your jelly on the side and put it on the other one and make it like a peanut butter and jelly waffle. The bomb. Some people don't realize there's chocolate chips, there's peanut butter chips, and depending on if you're like, I remember in Georgia, they do have a peach one that comes out, probably already has or is now a limited time peach one, and then that one would be really good to do it there. And you don't have to put jelly on that one that time or anything. You just do the peanut butter, and the fruit is inside the waffle. So you're good to go. But she knew my order, and she knew I didn't eat meat, so she used to always wrap my meat up to the side, and then I would give that to my mom. It would either be the sausage or the bacon as a side option, but I think I would always get sausage. Sausage is easier just to warm up in the morning. So I would get an All-Star, carbo load on that. IHOP was the jam. Go to IHOP at like 10 o'clock at night because I didn't close, 24/7, or they stayed up and late on weekdays. But yeah, it's just doing that, working out, going to Planet Fitness, and then working and before you know it, I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm rocking it out. I remember Mom Kimmy, I went to go visit her in 2018. It would be 2018 at this point. I came to visit her. We went to a wedding. She just couldn't recognize me. It's like, oh my God, it's just weird seeing you that small, and this is the size I'm supposed to be. And it's just, I guess, weird for other people seeing you. But yeah, it was just like, yeah, I was smaller. I was able to fit this red dress that I had that my mom was able to wear when she was in high school. And I was able to wear it for her birthday that year, or the following year. Was it? 2019 is a blur. Not really, but it is. But long story short, my mother's birthday that year, I was able to wear her dress she was able to wear in high school then, that she could then now. So that worked out. And so, getting sidetracked here, back to I Love Kickboxing. The job was great. I learned how to do kickboxing there. Unfortunately, that's where I injured my knee like 2-3 times, I think. It's the same knee. It's my right knee. I'm like even rubbing it right now as we speak, just thinking about it. But it's just doing certain moves wrong, maybe, especially when it came to like left roundhouses. It was kind of hard to understand the twist my body into it more. And I think I just was learning it wrong at the beginning, and also not strengthening myself early on, because I was, again, losing weight pretty quickly, and there was just a lot of factors involved. But I loved it. It was in a dojo style studio. We had the stand-up bags like the one I have in the corner, and kicking it or whatever. It was different than like a hanging heavy bag that I work with now. But yeah, it was just the feeling of being able to help people lose weight and help people understand how to eat and feel good about themselves and lose weight in their pants and clothes. And it was just a good feeling because I know how I felt when I got to the weight that made me feel good and made me feel comfortable, and having it where my clothes are fitting better. I loved it when that happened for others. That was like, yeah, just being a trainer is like a dream job, but it's difficult when the paycheck isn't as good as it should be. But it was just great to see how people felt, especially when we had like a 6-week challenge. Was it 8 weeks? Long story short, you're supposed to weigh in and you pay a certain amount, and you get a recipe book. Then you're required to come to class a certain amount of times, and then we weigh you in the middle, and then we weigh you at the end, and then it's had the body fats. We did all of it so that you can compare before and afters. A lot of some of those before and after pictures still to this day were iconic. I'm currently trying to think of the name. I think her name was Desiree or Denise. I remember her first picture in my head. I can see it now. She's wearing a white t-shirt with like the stretchy like basketball short pants. And then her after picture was her wearing this tank top with this pink pattern and black like biker shorts. And the before and after is astonishing, and it's crazy because it's like you don't see that in you, but other people see you. And it took a while for it to click for our clients to realize the before and afters and how it, made a difference and impacted them in a big way. A lot of them stayed around. A lot of them, even after 6-week challenge, still continue to come. And then, it just, the classes got bigger. I remember it was like crazy, of course, like on weekends and things like that, but it was always fun. Me training, as you guys know, I'm very outgoing and very, energy driven and things like that. And so you can imagine me with my headset on, running around, throwing out combos and looking at the beats for the day and having my music try to go with the workouts. I remember I used to start a lot of my workouts with Turn Up the Music by Chris Brown, just because it had like this moment where it's like, come on, come on, come on, come on. And then it was this other song that had like all the fast rappers, Busta, Twista on the song. Oh no. Wow. Hey, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And if I'm not mistaken, that song was in the dance movies, Step Ups. That's it. Y'all remember Step Ups? So that was in that. And so that I would start a lot, especially with the let's go, let's go. It's like, come on, guys. And so our classes always start out with like a run or something cardio related, especially since you're on the dojo mat, you're a little bit cushioned, and we train barefoot. I've lost like a big toe nail a few times. But yeah, even now, they're better. I don't know if they're ever going to be normal again, but it happens. And it's so hilarious. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you can probably go back into my old videos and see like my first like kickboxing clips. Oh my God, just looking at myself be so like, it's so cringe. Anywho, but I train at Rockbox now, and so I've been officially kickboxing since 2017, and so my skills have gotten a lot better, and I've trained a lot more people, and things like that. I'd even mentioned in the other video training at 9 round. I think I talked about 9 round. Did I not? Yeah, I didn't actually. Yeah, no, I didn't talk about 9 round in the last episode, but I did train at 9 round before the pandemic, and I didn't go back after everything opened back up. But after lockdown, I kind of just started working back on myself again with my own training and my personal stuff. I was going to LA Fitness because they had a heavy bag there, and one of the only gyms that actually had heavy bags. So yeah, I love kickboxing. Started all off, it changed my life for like the better. The crew I was with, it was a great team. The manager is amazing, and she's still doing her thing. She is coaching still. The crew was amazing there. The owner was really cool. He was French, or he is French. He had a son that was like a professional kayaker. And I think he was trying to get like sign up with Red Bull back then. I'm not sure if they ever went through, but he would compete and do that a lot. But yeah, the manager was amazing. She was very, very understanding of humans and being able to read and pick up and feel them. And it was great because it was just so good to know that someone could figure you out and feel the energy and kind of not be judgmental, but understand. And I appreciate her for that. And I hope you're doing well. And I'm not gonna say your name, but I hope you're doing well. And we should get coffee again at some point. But I appreciate you for making me for me and who I am today. and all that fun stuff. And yeah. Sorry, sappiness over. And after I did that, I started working in logistics, right? I'm not gonna bring up this company's name. Don't get me wrong, this company is great at what they do. I won't be surprised if they're at a 5 billion, 6 billion per year at this point. But I work in logistics, and it's ironic because my mother also is in accounting that does in logistics and trucking, and it's crazy how I end up falling in that world too. And then I ended up learning the lingo and the words and the vocabulary, and so that I was able to talk to her like LTL, FTL, and bill of lading, and it was just kind of interesting to be able to talk to her about what she's done for years, and I just scratched the surface. I enjoyed that company. It was my first ever desk job, as you guys can tell from the past. None of my jobs are ever been really sitting down. Even just physically bearing jobs. But this is my first job, sitting at a desk, working on computers, answering phones. So my first situation was just learning about trucking, OMAS, containers, reefers, truck types, sizes, dimensions, and I was under someone and learning their portfolio and what they were moving, how they would move it, and it was just crazy. Give or take, the one element I did like about it was the hustle and the hard work, and also always working. The downside, it was more so like a frat house. Don't get me wrong, I know, everyone knows, trucking logistics is a male-dominated arena. Never had a problem with that. As you can tell, I don't think I would ever have a problem with that. But it was my job, and my office was okay with being alpha male and dog eat dog-ish. And then like at the end of the day on my team, there was only 4 or 5 girls, and I think there was 220 employees at the time I was working there. And so I want to say there's probably a total of 10 or 20 of those may have been women, and the other 200 were males. As far as in diversity, there was probably 5 Black girls, and maybe like 3 Spanish girls. And then there's like, maybe, I think there was, there was a Vietnamese girl, I believe, and stuff like that. So it was diverse, but it was still like only 25% of the company wasn't even, female, was just females or of some sort. It was so frustrating that they just allowed that frat boy world, knowing that they purposely was intending to hire more women and then making it where they weren't making it women friendly. No big deal. I worked there for, I don't even know, March to September of 21, maybe. I can't even remember. I want to, I want to say it was 2021. Lost track of time. After 2020, it's like you lose a year and then your brain is like, I didn't experience 2020. So then it's like, are we actually forward in time or are we backwards in time? But yeah, after I left there, I worked temporary and did quality control for a company that produced medical supplies, everything from needles to syringes and things of that nature, and did that for a bit. And then that's what brings me to present day. Since this is my current job that I'm speaking of, I'm not going to use any names, no locations, no of that stuff. If I happen to slip and say the name, I'll just remember to, hey Ty, make sure you forget. Don't forget. Change, delete names, switch out, bleep, whatever. But let's just say I work in customer service, as I do. Um, but imagine customer service, but for homeowners. So I work for a company that sits in homeowners. And so I I have plenty, plenty of stories. Um, Before I even tell any stories, there's just one thing I gotta say. If you're gonna buy a house, please, please, I'm begging you, please read all your closing documents. Please read everything, know what you're paying for, know what the money is going to, and know what the breakdown is. Don't assume anything. Ask questions. Ask them everything. Whoever's at the table, ask them everything. Have questions ahead of time. Just please read. That's all I'm asking, okay? Just read. But long story short, I sit with homeowners with day-to-day issues. Of course, you get complaints out the wazoo. Complaints such as dog poop to landscaping. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I wish I had the time to worry about other people's stuff that's going on in their lives. I'm only worried about me. Why are you worrying about someone's parking on the street? Why are you worrying about, oh, this person's grass is about 3 inches too tall. Oh, this person had their neighbor over too long, or this, no. There's so many more important things going on in the world for you having to worry about what everybody else is doing, okay? No, stop it. But that comes to memory, the most recent thing I remember. So I couldn't tell you what these people were doing, but if they had the garage open, they had like sheets like hanging. And I don't know if they're trying to dry things or what have you, but it had sheets hanging. If someone's sleeping in there, they kind of keep it out bugs, or they keeping it like the screen. Sure, I guess, I don't know. But tell me how for like a week to 2 weeks straight, I had a neighbor that lived maybe 3 or 4 houses down, kept emailing us about these sheets on this guy's garage. She's like, I'm trying to sell my house and these people just have this abomination and da 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 da. And I'm like, got it. Yeah, technically it's in the garage, so technically it's inside and not outside. But I couldn't tell you what the result of that was. On the plus side, I haven't heard from him ever again. Allegedly, he was selling his home, so therefore I think he probably isn't in that neighborhood anymore. But I shouldn't need to have a report of the same thing every day for 10 business days. I mean, there's nothing's changed from 2 weeks ago, so why are you still wasting your time sending the same thing? And then complain about something with the grass and then the car on the grass and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, those are violations. I get it. I understand. But stop sending the same violations over and over again to us. Yeah, or even having like, we have this one homeowner, she comes out of the blue every now and then. She complains about landscaping or stuff on the side of the road and blah, blah, blah. But she has a potty mouth. I've never actually talked to her on the phone, but she's left voicemails and she sends emails and she's cussing up a storm. Now, no one can ever talk to her ever again now. She's currently on the do not talk to list. And every time she communicates with us, she has to tag the attorney in there. But tell me how she's still talking about the same things as well, and also still cussing. How are you cussing in the email that has everybody attached to it, and you're complaining? And she lives in one of the most beautiful neighborhoods that I know of that is in this area, and she complains about every little thing that's off place. I remember she was complaining about someone had something on the curb, but like it was bulk pickup day, so it was trash day, and you're calling about someone having stuff on the side of the street. It's there to be picked up. That's what happens. Okay, so yeah, she'll show up every now and then. And I hate that I'm not talking about her now, that when we go to work on Monday, there'll be something about her. Oh man, I can feel it now. I was like, oh, did I speak her up? I hope not. And I remember this to this day. If I could remember, I can probably place it somewhere on the screen. But I took a picture of a chat that we got. This guy chatted us like we were supposed to know this. So, excuse me, why are you sending letters to a unalive person and billing them X minus Z money, blah, 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 blah. Okay, first off, we don't know when people pass. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but we don't get told when someone passes away. Now, when we do find out someone passes away, then we find there's like an estate holder or admin or executor, like then we'll know. But if it just happened and we still sending out notices, the mail is going to still go. I don't know what he thinks, but he was saying something about he brought God into it. I'm like, sir, everything. And so if I do remember, I can find that screenshot that I took and I'm going to place on the screen somewhere. But yeah, just coming out of nowhere, getting mad at us and then all this stuff about someone that passed and them getting overdue notices. We didn't know. The mail's going to still travel. Even if we knew, the mail's already en route and there's really no much we can stop it. More complaints, like when it comes to, oh my God, this person's not picking up after their dog. If I had $1 for every time someone came to me to complain about someone not picking up after their dog, I would be not at that job. It's like, unless you can have a video, unfortunately, we need a video or photo of it actually happening, then that's the only way I can prove that that person didn't pick up after themselves, for all you know. Like, again, who out here, she didn't pick up after her dog, like, who's out here? So I get complaints about that all the time. Do you know where they live? Do you know where the owner, the dog lived? X, Y, and Z. Then I may be able to issue something. But unless I have photos or a video, I don't know who to send the violation to or the possible, please remember to pick up after your animals. One thing that people do a lot is, again, complain about landscaping. Oh, this bush needs to be trimmed, or this grass is too high. Like, why is the landscapers not cleaning up after themselves? That confuses me. Usually when someone comes to cut the grass, there's going to be grass clippings, there's going to be debris, right? It's just like, why did they not come and clean up the grass clippings? In most cases, the nature takes care of that. It does look kind of unsightly for a bit, but usually, you know, it goes away. Had this one lady said the utility, it was an easement, so the easement area, it was something had to get dug up or something, but long story short, the grass is dead there. And she came to us to complain like, well, they just put dirt there and said it'll grow back on its own. I'm like, yeah, it's grass, it'll grow back. But she was complaining like, I got family coming to visit and this looks so bad, da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna put grass down. I'm sure in my head I was thinking, I'm sure the grass will go back in before your family comes in 3 weeks. Yeah, I hope, yeah, because it's rainy season. Yeah, just saying. So yeah, so she complains about that. I have people complaining about bushes. Oh, this bush is grown too far out, can't see around it. The kids are going to get hit by a car if someone doesn't clip this tree or this branch or this bush back. Got it. And of course, as you know, it's summer, so it's pool stuff. So pool season gets kind of crazy because everyone needs access to it and needs to sign up to do it, and passes, keys, and fobs, what have you. And so, yeah, people love their precious pools. I respect that you want to enjoy your amenities, but then also know that things cannot be issued within the same day. And so, yes, if it's a Friday, you're going to have to wait until Monday. You won't be able to enjoy your amenities until next week. Sorry, you can't enjoy them on the weekend. People don't understand that. People think like they call, hey, I need a pool fob, I need a pool key, I need access to the pool. You need to do some things. Sometimes you need to fill out a form. Sometimes you need to pay for a replacement. Sometimes you need to figure out what the code is on the fob to reactivate it, etc., etc. But no, these people are coming down my throats over the phone like, I can't go swimming because of this. Also, too, if you have an overdue balance, you're also gonna not be able to go to the pool. So make sure you pay your bill and you can go and swim into your pool. So there's that. So yeah, they always talk about the millennials and the 90s kids and the new generation whining and pouting about things and wanting to get their way. But I have people over the age of 50 coming at me like they're toddlers. So essentially what you do is just get that person's age, drop off the second digit, and that's how old they are mentally. That's what it feels like. So yeah, I'm a 3-year-old, you're a 4-year-old, and you're a 5-year-old, etc., etc. There be no reason I should be disrespected, cussed out, swore at, yelled at over the access to a pool that's open for 4 months, usually from Memorial Day to Labor Day. I don't know why you're getting on me at this moment about you needing to get into the pool. You know how when you call like the hospital, or you know how you call like a doctor or even like a dentist or a chiropractor or something, it says, if this is emergency, please dial 911. I wish I had that on ours. I think we yes, we actually do have that, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But long story short, I want to tell you some stories about how people called us instead of the police. The one that sticks out the most in memory is that this lady called me, lived in a single family home. She calls me and she says, this random guy just pulled up in my driveway and went to go visit his friend next door. He's in my driveway and all that stuff. And I asked her, did you call the police? She's like, no. Well, no, she said, I did. But then I called you right after. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, Mom, but there's nothing we can do according to him being on your property. And you don't want him there. He's currently trespassing. So I would, suggest you wait for the police or the local authorities. And so she tells me, the guy says, well, the reason I parked here was because there's a tree and it's hot out and I'm using the tree as shade, so I parked here. And I'm like, really? He thought that was okay to do? I don't understand. To this day, I still don't know what the outcome is. I haven't heard from her since. But she called me when she should have called the police, which she did in this case. But still, it's like, I can't do anything when it comes to human behavior in that regard. Sorry. Or like someone would say, like a story I had, someone said they shoot their dog and they called us. I asked if they called the authorities. They said no. I just thought you guys should know. And the story she told me was, I get it. I understand. That just makes no sense. It's one of the communities where it's like, that usually doesn't happen. And I asked her to call the police. She filed a police report against the person, whatever have you. But yeah, we are not going to get involved with anything. Is there any damage just to person's properties? No? Okay. Can't. I can't do anything either way. But having someone's like, hey, this person, I think they were walking around indecent and they called us, and I'm like, did you call the police? And they said no, and I'm like, you should call the police. Oh my God, this dog is attacking the other dog or something. Like, did you call animal control? Did you call the city? That's more important. We can't help you there. So there's just a lot of times where people will call us instead of calling 911. Oh yeah, like this one person said, like, she was in her car and the guy tapped on her window with pew pew, and she called us again instead of 911. If someone had a pew pew, you should call 911 first. Okay, just so you know. If someone has a pew pew, call 911. And so, of course, referring back to one of those homeowners that are on the do not call list, a lot of times they threaten us, lawsuits, what have you. They get put on the do not call list, or they can't talk to us about what their complaint or concerns are. But there's so many people that the one thing I never understood was that when someone calls you and asks you for help, and then they proceed not to receive the help, but then tell you what they need help with, I don't get it. Hey, can you help me with X, Y, and Z? Hey, here's the answer to X, Y, and Z. Insert, I don't like that answer. So why can't this be this then? Because I just told you it couldn't be. Or the best scenario is when you tell someone what's what. They proceed to tell you verbally that they understand, but then proceed to not understand. They still want it their way. And I'm like, you can't do this. But why not? Because rules, restrictions, that's what they say. And yeah. Oh yeah, did I mention I deal with toddlers. So it's like, you called to get customer help, or in this case, homeowner help, and I tell you how to help you and you don't want it. Why'd you call? And why'd you call if you weren't going to listen? I guess. But people on the do not call list, or people that are just going through it. The lady that was cussing and people are saying bad stuff about us, or the company or the co-workers about something that get in their way, and now they're like, I'm gonna go to the news, or I'm gonna get my son. Oh, that triggered a memory. I had this lady complain about kids. So this community allows basketball goals. And since they allow basketball goals, that means said kids will play basketball. And she got upset one day that the ball came in her front yard, whatever. And she calls and complains to us like, kids aren't kids, right? Like, these are children she's complaining on. I want to say they were like 7, 9, and 11 or something. They were really young. And she's complaining about their ball coming in the yard or hearing them playing and stuff. It's like, what did you expect? You're living in a neighborhood where kids are allowed to play outside. When back in my day, we could play outside, scream and play, and people knew it was kids, and we're enjoying ourselves and living it up. And yet this lady now is complaining about kids being in the street and screaming and playing and laughing, and she's like annoyed and upset by that. And it makes me think about the story that happened recently where I guess the lady was upset with the kids playing or doing something, and then the kid went to go tell the mom, and then the mom came to talk like adults to the lady, and she ended up shooting her through the door. And this was in Florida, and I think she didn't, there was no stand your ground rule implemented here. There was no danger to your dungeon or your kingdom or your castle. In her case, dungeon. But so, yeah, it's stuff like that. It's like, can we not be kids anymore? Are we not allowed to do what we've always been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years? But I digress, I guess. But yeah, she would call us every week and want to say, I want to call the news, and I'm going to get my son to make a video about you guys because he has 10,000 followers or something. I don't know. Call the news. It won't be the first time companies like this got on the news because there was a homeowner that wasn't happy about something. And so yeah, just always just threatening us, cussing at us, being aggressive. I've had several phone calls where I've disconnected the call. I would say, hey, excuse me, please prevent from swearing, or since you're yelling, I want to disconnect this call, or whatever. It's like, that's not how this works. I can refuse service. You need me way more than I need you. So come correct. I don't know why people think it's okay to disrespect or be mean to customer service people. Retail, food service, otherwise, it makes no sense. We're all human beings. We're all here together, and yet we're over here bantering at us for no reason. And you know that we deal with that on a daily basis all day, and you're still just adding to the pile. And we're like, oh, I understand your job. I understand what you do. And I'm not trying to be mean, and then proceed to be mean. Don't do that. Please don't. But yeah, it's just the thought that out of all the jobs I've had, it's always been helping people or contributing to people. And I love that. I love seeing people win. I love being able to contribute some element to help someone's day better, or something elevate their lives, help them with a career, help them with weight loss, help them with selections, help them with anything. And that's just me. That's just my personality. It'd be very rare for me to do a job where I wasn't making someone smile or contributing in some way, in form or fashion. But yeah, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and also don't forget to subscribe. Comment down below what other topics you think we should talk about. I have a few that I probably want to do, like we talk about food, my favorite thing, technology, video games, movies, music, whatever is that suits your fancy. Like I said in my first episode, I am a big person on binging food competition shows. So if there's anything, comment below, let me know what you have in mind. I would definitely check it out. Follow my Instagram for more information about stuff coming up. I may refer some other things over there. And as well as you can check out my boxing and kickboxing training videos, and just some things I like to make and food. I take pictures of like my cool food or recipes I come across, and things like that. So I appreciate you guys. I think the last time I looked, I was at 15, I want to say 15 subscribers. And a lot of views. Like, it's been crazy. And so I appreciate every single person that supports me in any capacity. And thanks for listening to my job confessions. I mean, I could be a little bit more into it, but that may be for another video. But this is Save Me From Myself podcast with your host, Ty June. So, thanks for tuning in. You made it to the end. I see you next weekend.